Welcome to another episode of Inside the Valley. That's Dustin Black. I'm William Cockrell. Dustin, did you have a good weekend?
I did, man. Honestly, like for the NFL, the draft weekend is one of my favorite
Me
weekends
too.
of the NFL calendar. I love it. It's like that one piece of like college football that merges into NFL like perfectly. You know, you get to like reminisce on all the college football, all the teams, all the players, and it kind of merges into the hope of how they're going to be in the NFL.
Yeah, I was sitting there watching the draft on Thursday, and then Friday during the afternoon, my son watched a little bit of it with me. And then Saturday, while I was on what's that, round 4 through 7,
Mhm.
my son would see a pick. He goes, Dad, is that a good pick? Do you like that pick? That's a good pick. Because I just kept saying, oh, I like that pick. Oh, I don't like that pick. Oh, I like that pick. Which, like, what does that mean? It's like when someone's golfing, you're going to like that. You're going to like
Yeah.
that right there.
Oh
You're
yeah,
gonna
for
like
sure.
So, did you know that Clemson had 9 guys drafted and we only won 7 games?
I mean,
I
I think
think
the broadcast mentioned it every single time a Clemson player was drafted.
I think ESPN did it. I think NFL Network did it. Which do you watch
Mhm.
ESPN or NFL Network for that?
NFL Network.
Okay, me too. Me too. I would rather listen to Charles Davis and Rich
Rich
Eisen
Eisen, dude, I
than
love Rich Eisen as much as he is biased towards Michigan and it annoys me, but like I love Rich Eisen. I think he's so good.
his voice is, and I think Daniel Jeremiah is a
Hmm.
legitimate ball knower. Like if you compared Mel Kiper to Daniel Jeremiah, I think Daniel Jeremiah is leaps
Yeah,
and bounds ahead of him.
I'd agree with that.
It's I think Mel Kiper is Tommy Castellanos and Daniel Jeremiah is Fernando Mendoza. If we're
That's a
talking about
big. That's
former
a
ACC quarterbacks,
that's a big gap.
that's a very big gap. That's how I view those two. But uh, some good news. Clemson had its very first offensive lineman drafted in the first round this year. Shout out to Blake Miller. That's freaking awesome. Going to Detroit. I really wanted him to slide to the Panthers, but say la vie. He goes to Detroit. What a fit for him and Dan Campbell.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
you talk about a guy who eats glass playing with freaking Dan Campbell who eats kneecaps. Like that's a perfect merger. And Blake Miller probably got a lot of heat because the logo we talked about with Eric McClain last week. People aren't going to want to like him because he's got that Clemson Paul logo, and we haven't produced a first round offensive lineman. And Dabo put it perfectly. He said we'd have the 6'5" guy, but he lacked athleticism. We'd have the athletic tackle, but he lacked size. We would have the size and athleticism, but their arms were bad,
Hmm.
or they couldn't put it all together, or they were bad in the run game, or whatever. I mean, Mitch Hyatt, like the fact that Mitch Hyatt, I don't even know, did Mitch Hyatt even get drafted, or was he an undrafted free agent? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
Another 4-year starter, all the talent in the world, not drafted. But then you had
Hmm.
Blake Miller, who had all of it put together. He could run, he was strong, he had the size, he had everything you want in an offensive tackle. And say what you want about that Clemson offensive line last year, you couldn't say much about 78. Negative stuff about 78.
Yeah,
What's
I
your
think
thoughts
it's
on
a
that?
I think it's a perfect fit for Detroit. It's a run heavy offense. I think he's a way better run blocker than he is a pass blocker. So I think he'll be able to get to Maul a little bit. I think he'll slide right in at right tackle. I think they'll slide Panay Sewell out the left tackle, and I think that's going to be a really solid offensive line. But I mean, it's a team that's built around the offensive line, so you know that he's going to play in a system that develops him and gets the most out of him. So I'm super excited for Blake, and it really can't be overstated what that's going to do for Clemson recruiting the offensive line, especially now that we're in the midst of, missing on some targets. I know Kennedy Brown committed elsewhere, and
Peyton Miller.
yeah, Peyton Miller just committed to Florida today. But I just give it time. I think that you're going to get some miles out of this one, and I don't know what the total number is that Matt Luke has coached that's gone to the first round, but I know it's a decent number. So I think there's going to be more.
Yeah, just a phenomenal developer of offensive linemen. So thank God we have Matt Luke, our king. Peter Woods, who a lot of people thought would go top 5, top 10, slides to 29, goes to the Kansas City Chiefs. Great fit for him as well.
Mhm.
He's going to be right next to the defensive tackle there from Mississippi State. I'm forgetting his name, Chris
Chris
Jones.
Jones. Yep.
Chris Jones. Um, Not too shabby of a man to learn from, right?
Right.
So a lot of people mock Peter Woods to go to Tampa Bay. I thought he went later than anticipated, but I think all that has to do with last year. Last year put a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, specifically with our defense,
Mhm.
specifically with T.J. Parker and Peter Woods. I think both of them lost the most money last year. Um, whether you argue that how much they made in NIL, I don't think they made enough in NIL to cover what they lost in terms of draft capital. I mean,
Right.
the difference between a top 10 pick and the bottom 10 picks in the first round is exponential. The difference between the first round and the second round is even more exponential. I mean, we're talking tens of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Love just got paid $23 million, I think it was, as a running back, which running backs who have been in the league for a long time don't get. And Peter Woods and TJ Parker go in the first and second round. So it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And but I think Peter Woods will have a good NFL career if he tweaks a couple things. And I think he's in the perfect fit for him to succeed.
It's a kind of a weird fit for me because they just drafted that Omar Lott guy out of Tennessee last year, and obviously have Chris Jones there too. So I don't know what their thought process is of getting another defensive tackle with that first round pick. I thought they ended up getting Mason Thomas a couple of picks later, but I thought the Chiefs' bigger problem was like edge rusher and probably secondary. So for them to get, they got Delane at pick 6, and then I was kind of surprised to see Peter go there. But I mean, Peter's going to be a good NFL player. I know that the arm length is a concern, but I mean, the dude is as twitchy as they come, and he's a great athlete. Like, you're going to take as many of those guys as you can. So I think it's going to be fun. And he's not going to be pressured into being like the dude right away. I mean, I know he's a first round pick, but that's Chris Jones' defensive line right there, so he's going to rotate a little bit, and then he'll probably carve out a nice starting role, at some point, and pull him for the guy, really.
Yeah. And Kansas City going into the draft was talking about how they needed offensive linemen so badly. They were going to prioritize offensive linemen. Dustin, I don't know. I know they didn't take him in the first round, and I don't think they even took one in the second round. I think they took our Thomas Mason. Our Mason Thomas.
Yeah.
Never mind. We're not going to shame on people's names.
They did the story on that when he got drafted. I forget what it is, but it's not short for anything. It's literally just R. I think it's something about like all his families are named after the letter R, and then they wanted to name him Mason, so they just put the R in front, and it's just the letter R and then Mason Thomas.
That's cool.
I'm just going off what the draft people said. I don't know. That's just
I'm not going to. They could have named him Herbert. Story. They could have named him Herbert. And shout out to all you Herberts out there. But you're not playing football named Herbert. First name Herbert. What's the least football name ever?
Earl.
Earl Campbell.
Oh, okay.
Earl Thomas.
I'm thinking Earl Little. Like whenever I hear Earl Little, I'm like, that just doesn't sound like a football player to me.
I think maybe like Sebastian.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Sebastian Janikowski. But that's a kicker.
Right.
Theodore. Gunther. Ever met a Gunther that plays in the NFL?
Mm-mm.
Bartholomew. There's been a Bartholomew last name at least. There's got to be another one. What's another one? Doesn't matter. Tobias. Those guys play in the NBA. So we'll go to the second round. TJ Parker. What's that? The third pick in the second round goes to the Buffalo Bills. After the Buffalo Bills traded back like 94 times, they land TJ Parker.
Yeah, it's a need for them. Buffalo Bills are terrible at rushing the passer last year, so
yeah,
I'm not surprised that that's the pick that they went with. I think some people are surprised to see TJ Parker go in the second round. I mean, early in the second round, regardless. But this was a draft. This was an edge-heavy draft. Like, I thought there was a lot of really good edge rushers in this draft, and he underperformed last year. I mean, there's no way around it. So he didn't have the year that he wanted to have, and so I think early second round was fair for him. So, and it's a good place. I mean, honestly, like new stadium in Buffalo, I think they're super excited about that. You get Josh Allen as your quarterback, so you're always going to have a chance to be playing, in the playoffs, and I think it's a good fit for him.
Yeah, and his ceiling is like Shaq Lawson 2.0. He's got the athleticism that Shaq Lawson didn't quite have, but Shaq Lawson had the work ethic that it seemed that TJ Parker didn't quite have, at least in his last year. So we've seen great TJ Parker, and we've seen average TJ Parker. If the Buffalo Bills drafted great TJ Parker, good for them. They got a steal.
I think it's likely that they thought he was a first round talent, but they could get him in the second. That's why they moved back. So it's like they always wanted TJ Parker, but they just looked at the landscape of the draft and said, we're going to move back to the second and take him instead of take him as a first and not use draft capital like that.
Right, and they were able to shore up some more defensive spots.
Yep.
Probably my favorite pick. One of my favorite picks in the draft was Avion Triller going to the Falcons. I mean, written in the stars, playing with his brother. I mean, it's insane. Both of them went to Westlake High School in Atlanta, went to Clemson, and then go and get drafted by the Atlanta Falcons. I mean, what a freaking cool moment for both of those guys to be able to play together. I mean,
it's pretty damn cool.
Yeah, I mean it gave me goosebumps watching that. That was pretty cool. This is why we love sports, family and football coming together. Shout out to the Terrells. I mean that has to be great for the parents. They don't have to go buy those cheesy split jerseys. Well, they do, but it's just numbers instead of different logos. So good for them. So that's super exciting. And if you're a Falcons Clemson fan, which there are a lot of those, you're probably super excited to get him because Avion Terrell's a dog.
Yeah.
And I think even more so than AJ. AJ Terrell is really good at playing the pass. I think Avion Terrell plays like a dog. He plays like he's the third kid in a family. So, which he is. So
that Falcons secondary is disgusting. Like both Terrells, you got Xavier Watts, who they drafted last year, Jesse Bates. I mean, that's a really good secondary.
That's a very good secondary. So they're going to be able to stop the pass for sure. Yeah. Too bad nobody in the NFC South is above 6 foot as a quarterback. I think Baker Mayfield is 5'10". Bryce Young is 5'4".
Tyler Shuck is probably 6'1", 6'2". Yeah.
Yeah, but he had all those knee surgeries, so he's probably lost a couple inches. And I couldn't even tell you who the Falcons quarterback is. Michael Penix, he's had 94 knee injuries. So
Tua, that's a heck of a quarterback room right there.
Yeah, we've got some big daddies playing quarterback in the NFC South. That might be the shortest quarterback division.
That 100% is for sure. Kyler Murray's in Minnesota. So Caleb Williams,
Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Jordan Love. Yeah, we're the shortest by far.
By far.
Yeah, we got to be. We got to be.
Yeah, it's not close.
The next pick, Antonio Williams, I jinxed it. I texted you and said, I don't want to jinx it. And as soon as I texted you, he got drafted.
That was funny, man. It really was because it was literally the next pick.
Yeah, I should have never said anything. But Antonio Williams goes to the Commanders. He's a commie now in a good way. The thing, and I think Paul Strelo pointed this out. We talked about this a little bit before the podcast. You can tell what kind of person Antonio Williams is because there were so many of his teammates there.
Mm-hmm.
So many of his teammates were celebrating with him. They went down to, I think he was in Charlotte. No. Was he in Charlotte? Yeah, he was in Charlotte celebrating the draft.
Oh, okay. I thought he would be back. I thought he'd be back home. Wouldn't he be back in Columbia?
I thought so, but I'm pretty sure on his draft call, he said he was in Charlotte with his family and his friends.
Okay.
Regardless, people went out of their way to go be there with him and celebrate that moment on day 3 of the draft. So that should tell you what kind of person he is. So shout out to Antonio Williams. If he can stay healthy, that's going to be a really, really good pick for the Washington Commanders. He's a guy who probably will excel in the slot. So he doesn't have to go and be Terry McLaurin like he was in our offense sometimes. He can go in there. He's competing with Luke McCaffrey. I think he can win that one if he can stay healthy. And he can go in there and be the dude. So that's going to be a really interesting wide receiver core when you add Antonio Williams. I think Deebo Samuel's still there. I can't remember.
I don't know, maybe.
But still, shout out to him. That's pretty freaking cool. Cade Klubnik goes to the Jets. He called it. I think what's more –
why did he say that, man?
I don't know. It must have been true. I don't know.
Listen, I know people want to make jokes. And I kind of made a joke on Twitter because I was kind of surprised by the pick. And, Jets are quarterback hell. It's what it is in the NFL. Jets have had about, I think 20 different starting quarterbacks since they've won a playoff game or something like that.
Yes,
but if you look at the Jets quarterback room, it's a really good place that Cade can go and compete. Honestly, he may start games next year.
Who's the starting quarterback there right now?
Geno Smith.
Yeah, he's got a shot.
You know what I mean? Like they
is he not Geno Smith?
I mean, maybe.
Is he not the same person?
It may be a good comp for him, honestly.
Who's the quarterback coach for the Jets?
Didn't Frank Reich go there?
Yeah, it is Frank Reich. It's got to be Frank Reich. I think it's Frank Reich. That's not bad.
Not terrible.
So we'll see.
Taking him before Drew Aller, before Nussmeier, before a lot of those guys. So I think he ended up being quarterback 4.
Yeah, he was after Carson Beck.
Yeah.
So it was Fernando
Ty
Mendoza,
Simpson. Yep.
Carson Beck, Cade Klubnik. And honestly, going into the year, the ironic part is going into the year, a lot of people had the Jets taking Cade Klubnik in the top 5.
Yeah.
Well, he's a Jet just in round 4, not the top 5. So not the year he wanted. And you saw you would see flashes of what Cade Klubnik could be. And then you would see flashes of what he could also be.
Right.
And his bad was really, really bad, and his good was really, really good. And if we've talked about this multiple times, if a coach can help him find his water, find his level, he could be a starting quarterback. I just don't know, Dustin. I just don't know. I don't think mentally, like, watching like some of these quarterback gurus break down his film, I just don't think he understands the game that well.
Yeah, it's one of those things where there's no, when he's throwing on air, he's got all the arm talent in the world. Like, he is as accurate as a quarterback as Clemson's ever had, if there are no pads on. But once the bullets start flying, this kid he's just sporadic. He's not consistent enough. That's the problem. Is his good is really, really good, but his bad is really, really bad. Like, he needs to tighten that gap up a little bit. He needs to eliminate the awful, awful plays.
Yeah, like his ceiling was Heisman candidate.
Yeah.
His floor was 4th round, pick 110 to the New York Jets.
I think his career is literally a perfect example of him. It was really rough to start. He found his way and was really, really good, and then he was kind of average again. Because it's kind of like you can't put him anywhere. It's like he's not horrible, he's not great, he's just kind of somewhere in between. But like, we've seen flashes. Like, he started for 3 years. So
I blame Garrett Riley.
Yep, me too.
I'm just gonna leave it at that. I blame Garrett Riley.
He was running
Woodaz.
I was gonna say. I mean, he was running a system that's since been eradicated from the Clemson football.
Eradicated. We went in. We sent the troops out. Operation Garrett Riley Freedom. Got him out of there. Got the terrorists out. Allegedly. Wade Woodaz to the Buffalo Bills, round 4, pick 123. So I thought that was a little rich, but I think that's a traits pick.
Wait. Houston Texans.
You're right. Sorry. Everybody else got drafted by the Bills, it seemed like.
Yeah.
It's actually one other person, but good correction.
Yeah, defensive head coach too. So, he's got some plans for him. And like we were talking before the podcast, I don't know where he ends up in the NFL. I don't, but I think what you said was spot on, is that he's probably just a really good special teams player.
He's a traits guy. And I think his floor is a really good special teams player. I think his ceiling is somebody who can come in and be a tweener. He can be someone who can play some passing down, someone who can cover a tight end for you, so someone who can rush the passer even. I don't know if he's a little stiff in rushing the passer, but if you're getting developed by D'Amico Ryans, I feel like you're going to get your potential tapped into. That sounds so weird to say. Tap my potential, D'Amico. Tap it all the way. I want you just to tap my potential.
Dude, that Texans defensive line is so nasty. I might be able to play linebacker behind that defensive line.
True. Will Anderson just got paid an entire country's GDP.
They got Caden McDonald.
McDonald. I forgot about that.
Dude, it's just a nasty, nasty group. Daniel Hunter.
Do the Houston Texans just always have a good defensive line?
I mean, that defense was so good last year, and then they added Caden McDonald. Yeah, that's just a nasty group, man.
Their defensive line will always be J.J. Watt, Vince Wilfork, Whitney Merciless, and Brian Cushing to me.
Yeah.
And I know Brian Cushing was a linebacker, but he blitzed a lot.
That's a good shout. They have had some really, really good defensive lines in their history.
Yeah, that's just what they do. Death, taxes, Houston Texans defensive line. They just do it. Good for him. That's really good for him. I honestly think he's one of those guys that'll get a second contract because, like I said, because of his special team savviness. He might be a journeyman, but I think he's a guy who has a really good shot to get a second contract. I truly do.
God, and that film he put out against South Carolina was so good. Like,
right.
he was excellent against South Carolina. Like, that was the best game Wade Wood has played in his Clemson career. That and the 2022 ACC championship game. Those are like his 2 best games as a Clemson Tiger.
Yeah, maybe you can sprinkle in some Stanford from 2024.
Okay.
Yeah, sprinkle in that game. I think he had a pick in that game. But Wade Woodaz, good for him. I think he's going to be a solid NFL player. DeMonte Capehart.
Man,
this is my favorite pick. I mean, hey, I know you're a Bucs fan, so you're a little biased. You know what? Go ahead. Let me hear what you have to say about our team.
This is one of those things like I keep looking at DeMonte Capers on the board. I'm like, someone's going to take this guy and he's going to hit. Like, someone's going to take this guy and he's going to be a stud. And I'm sitting there watching the draft and I see the Bucks come up and I'm like, I don't know what position we're going here. And I see DeMonte Capers' name come across the board and I'm like, this is the perfect Vita Vea rotation piece. This is the perfect guy to like, oh, you're tired of blocking Vita Vea? Have fun blocking DeMonte Capers.
Yeah.
Like it's just such a good pick, man. I think that his whole attitude of how he approaches the game is so similar to Ruben Bain and Keontae Scott. Like they just drafted a room full of guys that are just no fluff. Let's just go play football kind of guys. Like
that'd be a good T-shirt. The Bucks defensive line room, no fluffers.
It's just like business. Like all the guys they drafted on defense are just like, let's just ball. Like, you know what I mean? Like the Ruben Bain attitude, the Keontae Scott attitude, DeMonte Capers fits right in that. It's just like, it's almost like a mindset draft pick. Almost like the Bucks just wanted to get nastier and like more just polished on defense. And they did that, you know?
Yeah. What's it like having a team that drafts players from Clemson?
You don't know what that's like?
I do not know what that's like ever.
I can't remember when has the Bucks ever had another Clemson player?
Adam Humphreys.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I'm trying to think of any other. Yeah, I don't know.
Missing somebody.
Yeah.
Hold on. Let me look it up real quick. But like DeMonte Capers, like you said, like you're going the difference between him and Vita Vea is he's not as big as Vita Vea and he wears gloves. So,
right, but one of the most shocking things is, you know, DeMonte Capers was at Clemson for so long. He only started 12 games in his career at Clemson.
And that's because of health.
That's crazy to me. But like whenever he played and he played at the top of his ceiling, like that dude was really good.
Notre Dame would be his highlight. 2023, sure. I think it was. Or was it 2024?
And Georgia, dude, the Georgia game in
he was phenomenal.
In 2023?
Oh my gosh.
No, 2024. We're missing a big one, aren't we?
We're missing two massive ones. Gaines Adams.
Okay.
Daquan Bowers. And then the other one is Charles Bennett. And I don't think Adam Humphreys was drafted by the Bucks. I think he was drafted by the Titans, but he ended up playing for the Bucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so y'all drafted 4 Clemson players: Daquan Bowers, Gaines Adams, DeMonte Capers, and Charles Bennett. Who could forget Charles Bennett?
I can't believe I forgot those, man.
7th round in 2006. 15 years since y'all drafted one, so the drought is over.
Yeah, but I love the pick. Obviously, I mean, I'm so glad I get to watch him play in the NFL. So glad.
And that segues perfectly into the next one. Adam Randall, another perfect fit. I know John Harbaugh is not there anymore, but Jesse Minter's the coach over there at Baltimore now, and Derrick Henry is 6'3", 250 pounds. Oh, you're tired of hitting a 6'3", 250-pound man? Let's put in a 6'3", 230-pound man in Adam Randall. You know what Derrick Henry's worst part of his game is? Catching the football. Mm-hmm. You know Adam Randall's best part of his game is? Being able to catch the football. So I'm curious to see what the Ravens' offense looks like. I don't think it's going to be much different. You still have Lamar. You still have Derrick Henry. So the core is still there. Adam Randall has the chance to come in and be a great spellback. I mean, just a great third down guy, just a backup to Derrick Henry and have a solid career and honestly make some money. If he shows out in his first 3 years, he's got an opportunity to make some money. Mm-hmm. And that's just what the Ravens do. The Ravens make great running backs, and then they get them their second contract, and then we never know what happens to them after that.
There's so much untapped potential with Adam Randall. Like
there really is.
We saw him get better and better throughout the year. I think the Louisville game was probably his best game. South Carolina, he was excellent as well.
Yeah.
But I just think that there's so much room for growth at the running back position for Adam Randall, and so happy for that guy. I think people were kind of skeptical about the move, before the year. And I think some of us were like, I think he has a chance to get drafted just because of his measurables and his traits. Like a guy that big does not move that well typically. Right. Like he's a freak, dude.
And I think you're putting it perfectly, his untapped potential. I think an NFL coach is going to see, okay, this is what he was able to do on 1 year of playing running back.
Yeah.
Exactly 1 year. If we can get him and actually teach him this position, you know what? Let's put him behind a 12-year vet and Derrick Henry, who's going to be an NFL Hall of Famer. Maybe he can learn from him. I mean,
it's worth a 5th round pick, 100%.
So 9 Tigers, all drafted in the top 175. So all within the first 5 rounds of the draft. 5 Tigers in the top 75. 4 Tigers in the top 50. Talent, very talented.
Mm-hmm.
Very talented. Lots of potential. And then he even had some undrafted free agents. Tristan Lee signed almost immediately with the Minnesota Vikings. Cade Denhoff for the Buffalo Bills, and Jaden Lucas with the Tennessee Titans. And Philip Lorenzo, the long snapper, with the Atlanta Falcons. Pretty good for him.
He's gonna have a long NFL career.
Yes, he is. That's going to be a JJ Jensen type.
Yep.
And then Walker Parks has a mini camp invite with the Miami Dolphins and the Baltimore Ravens. So all those guys have a shot. Good for them. What's the elephant in the room, Dustin? The elephant in the room is that we had 9 guys on the team that are NFL guys and we won 7 games.
Yep.
Again, just in case you didn't hear that enough watching the draft on television. But I want to talk about this for a second because you can be a very, very talented team and be missing something, whether it be player leadership, whether it be coordinators, whether it be culture, whether it be development, which when everybody's like, oh, they don't develop their players. If we didn't develop our players, they would not be drafted into the NFL. So that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. All those guys were developed. And think about this. Adam Randall, you can say whatever you want about CJ Spiller and his ability to recruit and develop a running back. He took a guy who's never played running back before and coached him well enough to get him drafted.
Yeah.
Devontae Capehart. I mean, Clemson, you talk about the logo on the offensive line side, you can talk about the logo on the defensive line side, but the opposite reason. People want defensive linemen from Clemson. Albert Huggins just retired from the NFL. Think about that.
Yeah.
Pop quiz. What number did Albert Huggins wear at Clemson?
Ooh. Was it in the 40s?
It was 67. This is a rotational guy. That was the third rotation. He was third in the rotation on our defensive line, and Buddy just played 12 years in the NFL.
That's wild.
10 years. 8 years in the NFL, which is still crazy. That's crazy. So you get your guys drafted because of the logo. But what I want to say is I think Dabo told us a lot of things without even having to tell us something. He says a lot of things. I know he gets accused of being a gaslighter and all those things all the time. What did we see happen this year in the offseason? Coaches. Did any coaches leave, Dustin?
Nope.
Yes. Mickey Kahn, gone.
Oh, this offseason. I thought you were talking about before.
Sorry. The current offseason happening right now.
Yes.
Mickey Kahn, Garrett Riley.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? A couple analysts.
Analysts and stuff.
So Mickey Kahn goes with, what was his name, Rod Grass or whatever, to Samford. John Grass, Jacob Jingleheimer Smith goes to Samford. Speculation was that Mickey Kahn stopped making play calls after SMU, or maybe it was Duke. What was the points per game after that Duke game, Dustin? It went from 21 to what? 16.7?
16, yep.
That's a touchdown, guys. Do with that what you want. Okay? He's gone. Garrett Riley.
Analyst at Missouri.
Could have an opportunity to go run the air raid somewhere in the Big 12 at some point. He's got West Virginia or TCU written all over, which he came from TCU, but I just feel like he belongs to the Big 12. What that tells you is we have the wrong guys making leadership decisions. We have the wrong guys running practice. We have the wrong guys running plays. We have the wrong guys holding our players accountable.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I just said the other day, I don't want to speculate, but I'm going to speculate. I think something just infected that locker room after the LSU game.
So I can tell you what infected that locker room. Entitlement. You don't walk into that locker room after that LSU game and give up. That game should have gone much different.
Yeah.
It didn't. But rest of the season didn't have to go bad.
Yeah, but it was like, then they came out so flat against Troy, and that was just such a bizarre game with the lightning delay and all that. And then the Georgia Tech game happened, and they played legitimately hard against Georgia Tech. Offense just couldn't, move the ball in the third quarter, and
And the
defense
defense
couldn't.
couldn't get stops when it mattered.
Yep. And so then you lose a close one to Georgia Tech, and then Syracuse was just a disaster. Syracuse, like, I don't think people realize that if Angeli doesn't get hurt, Syracuse puts up 50.
Yeah, they tie us up and string us, and they murder everyone in front of 80,000 people.
They would have picked their number. There was nothing you could do to stop them with Angeli out there. And then you send their backup out there who can't complete a forward pass, and the offense can't do anything. So It was like this back and forth of like offense would play great, defense would just completely just be atrocious. The Duke game, you put up 45 points at home and lose.
So
Like
my speculation is
crazy.
My speculation is it was everybody and nobody.
Yeah.
It was everybody and nobody. Everyone been reading the articles and the pundits, and we were going to get drafted, and we were going to go to the national championship, and everyone was going to win a postseason award, and they get their freaking teeth punched in by LSU, and they don't know how to respond. Well, then they come off the mat a little bit because they got embarrassed against Troy, and they get their teeth punched in by Georgia Tech, and then they just freaking lay down.
I said this in 2023. I said the team isn't overall good enough to take everyone's best punch, but they're still like the logo still carries enough weight that every week they're getting everyone's best punch.
Right.
And then this year you come around and it's like you're giving them the weight of the expectations of a national championship, and this team is not good enough to handle the weight of the expectations of a national championship.
And again, that's the key point. The team was not good enough. The players were.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
You can have great players and a bad team. And we saw that with Penn State, with Clemson, hell with LSU. I mean, so it happens. I don't know what happens. And all those guys are in the same class. These are the COVID guys. I don't know. Something was really weird about this year. But we move forward. I think all those guys had great moments. I think at some point, all of us were excited to call them Clemson Tigers. And we should be. And we should be thankful for what they did. They did a lot of really good things. They cannot take away from us the highlight tape from Cade Klubnik in the Texas playoff game. They cannot take away from us the Louisville game with Adam Randall. They cannot take away from us the highlight that DeMonte Capehart put by walking the Notre Dame center back 5 yards, putting him in his lap, and then making the tackle on the running back. They cannot take away from us Cade Klubnik's rushing touchdown against Pitt, Antonio Williams' touchdown catches against Florida State, Avion Terrell's pick against Georgia Tech, T.J. Parker's game against Pitt where he had like 69 sacks and 45 forced fumbles, Peter Woods, pick your poison, the Georgia game. Blake Miller putting Dylan Stewart in a blender last year, which is getting me some heat right now online. Wade Woodaz, like you said, against South Carolina, saving the game multiple times. Regardless, so yes, Clemson put a bad taste in our mouth in 2025, but these guys also gave us a lot of good things. I don't want us to sit here and bash Clemson Tigers like there's some horrible people, horrible players. They did a lot of good things, and I don't want a 7-6 season to take away from that.
And they all stayed. Antonio Williams tried to get lured away by other programs. Peter Woods, T.J. Parker, Cade Klubnik, all those guys could have gone somewhere else and transferred and got paid or done, whatever. But they stayed. They stayed. They hung it out all their time at Clemson.
Yeah. So we have all this speculation. We could say all these things. Jaden Lucas is another one. Former 5-star and couldn't quite crack the starting lineup. Could have transferred. Kay Denhoff, same thing. Lost his starting job. Stayed. Walker Parks couldn't stay off the injury list. I mean, just a plethora of guys. What these guys did for us, you cannot take away last year's preseason either. You cannot take away anything leading up to the LSU game where we thought we were going to the national championship. The team had the talent. They just couldn't put it together.
Yeah.
We got to scrap it. We got to move on. And
if we're talking about the draft, I mean, next year you're still looking like I was counting today. I think you're looking at 6 draft picks on the team from this year to next year.
TJ Moore, potentially Bryant Wesco, depending on how he plays. The neck is going to be a big thing for the draft evaluators.
Yep. Olsen Pat
Henry. On defensive side of the ball, will be a first rounder.
Sammy Brown.
Is he drafted? No.
Yeah, he is. But
he needs to play 4 years.
He may stay 1 more year to play with his brother. We'll see.
Let's do that, Sammy. Let's do that. Ashton Hampton, Elliott Washington.
And then pick your transfer, Jerome Carter, Corey Myrick, one of those guys maybe.
Yeah. So, I mean, still a very talented team.
still a very talented team, and you still have guys that could be Vic Burley if he has a big year could be drafted. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
a lot of guys with potential.
So we're seriously looking at a year where like we lost 9 draft picks, and then you go back and look at the roster for next year, and you're like, I still got like 7 or 8 guys who could potentially be drafted next year, and then more in the following year. So like, I get it. I trust me. I understand everyone wants to say Clemson went 7-6. They just had 9 guys drafted. They had other guys transfer out. Like, I get it. I get you want to just say like, well, this is where Clemson is as a program, but we watched this program do this over and over again for 14 years. Just win 9, 10 games somehow, some way. Did it with DJ Uyunglele, right? Like we're gonna be okay.
Did it with Cole Stout.
Did it with Cole Stout. Like it's gonna be fine. Like everyone who sings like the house is burning and the sky is falling and Clemson's just dead program. Like stop it. Okay.
Yeah.
There's still talent on the roster. The ACC is getting worse. Is Clemson going to compete for a national championship this year? Hell no. Okay.
I'm not saying that.
But you're crazy if you think this team is going 6-6 or 7-5 just looking at their schedule. You're crazy.
I agree. And you're from Vegas.
Yeah.
Dustin, I love it. I love it. I'm excited for this year. It's only April, folks. It's only April.
The defense is going to be so good. I cannot wait to watch this defense. Like, y'all don't understand the year 2 of Tom Allen, like him actually getting to run the defense that he wants to run because he went out and handpicked the players that he wants to play for his defense. Like, that cannot be understated. It like, you seriously, like, sorry, it cannot be overstated. Like, you cannot tell me that, like, this defense is not going to be better this year than last year when they were just catastrophic mistake after catastrophic mistake. And after all that, 20 points per game, which was good enough for 31st in the country.
Yep. And when your offense stalls out. So the biggest things that held back this team last year, I tweeted a little bit about it. 120th in pass defense. And I think it was 113th in third down offense. And I can't remember what it was on rushing offense. Those 3 things make you 7-6.
Yeah.
If you can't stop the pass, if you can't convert on third down on money downs, and you can't run the football, you will not win. You won't win in the goal line, which we couldn't last year. We haven't been able for a few years. You won't win to get into field goal position. You won't sustain drives. You won't keep your defense off the field. And if you can't stop the pass, you can't stop Duke on freaking 4th and 7.
Yeah.
With Darian Mensah, a Tulane transfer, throwing to Cooper Barkay, a Harvard transfer.
Yeah.
Dustin, I'm excited for next year. Hats off to these guys. Their dreams just came true. Hopefully Tristan Lee, Jaden Lucas, Cade Denhall, Phil Florenzo, and Walker Parks can do something with their opportunities. Hopefully some other guys get an opportunity. Ryan Lithicum, hope you get a shot. You got anything else you want to add?
No. I mean, it's just kind of hit a lull in football for a little bit until we get our May 31st OV weekend. But
29th.
Yeah, well, 29th. Yeah, 29th. So, this is a sad time of year because now I got to wait for football season.
That's the wrong mindset. This is great. Now we get to watch highlights. We get to watch old games. I was watching some tape on the Clemson South Carolina game last year, which I vowed I would never watch a game from last year, and I chose to watch that one. Man, we missed a lot of opportunities. Holy cow, we missed a lot of opportunities in that game. That game could have been a blowout.
Yeah.
But I digress. I'm going to be watching some 2014, 2015, 2013, 2016, 17, 18, 19 tape. And get myself right. Maybe watch some other games. If you're not following Cruz Oxenrider, he's posting a classic game every day until football season kicks off. Really good follow. You need to go follow him. You also need to go follow Dustin B429 on the Twitter sphere. Great content, great Clemson content, knows his stuff. A Clemson savant, one might say.
No, don't give me that. Don't give me that.
You can follow me at Walk On Moose. You can go see what people call me. I get a lot of adjectives. I got some really good ones today. People love to talk about that I was a walk on. That's the first insult they got. Man, it's in my Twitter handle.
How dare you play college football, Will? How dare you?
Scumbag. You tried your best and it wasn't quite good enough. You piece of crap.
Gosh, man.
Dustin, you got a golf fact for us? I realize that saying that you should give us a grass fact might not do you justice. I want a golf fact. I want a golf course fact from Dustin Black before we sign off.
A golf course fact? Just anything? That's so vague, man.
I mean, it could be the grass. If you already had a grass one ready. What's the best trees? What trees are the most common on a golf course? There have to be trees.
I mean, that depends on the region of the country you're in. You know,
Here we go. Tell me more. What, Arizona's got cacti, and we got pine eye down here.
see, you already know. Yeah, you got a bunch of pine trees in South Carolina and Georgia.
I like how you knew that pine eye was plural for pine tree.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Is there like a tree thing that you have to have a certain amount of trees on a golf course?
No, I mean trees on a golf course is more to like, you know, border your holes, and that sounds wrong.
If you don't learn anything from us, border your holes, folks. Border your holes.
I call it okay. How about
that's
this?
another T-shirt? That's another T-shirt.
Framing in your holes, basically. So you basically create like a border
where people want to put their ball in that hole.
Yeah, you also want to create a buffer between your holes. You know what I mean? So you don't want to have your holes just exposed to each other. So
we call that the taint of the golf course.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. God, that went off the rails.
Yeah, that was good. So protect your holes, people. Frame your holes and make sure you put a buffer between your holes. That's Dustin Black. I'm William Cockrell. We'll see you in the next one.